Hi, you guys. This is Courtney from Willow's Bloom, and today we're going to be talking about the new moon in Cancer that's happening on July 9th at 18 degrees of Cancer. So, really quick before I jump into the chart, the overall explanation, I did want to mention that I have a new membership called the North Node Society, and I basically have a whole astrology course that is worth hundreds of dollars just sitting there for you, easy access, just $20 a month. And it's so much more than just an astrology course. Not only can you dive into your chart and learn about where this moon is going to affect you personally and how that might look in your life, but you'll also have live group classes with people where I go over other topics around astrology. We also have a therapist. I say that in quotes because she's not a therapist, but there's some kind of like counseling service that we do. Again, I don't want to say counseling because I'm not like legally allowed to have therapy or counseling. It's something along those lines. It's kind of like coaching, like spiritual coaching, let's say. So we have a spiritual coach come on each month. We have breathwork classes, yoga. There's so many different things that are offered in this membership, and I really hope that you'd be interested in joining. So if so, there's a link below, and I'll see you guys there. Okay, so we're gonna go over the new moon for all of the zodiac signs, but first we're gonna start off with the overview. So, like I said, this moon is happening at 18 degrees of Cancer, which means that if you have a planet at around plus or minus 5 degrees, 18 degrees of Cancer, then you are going to be strongly affected by this. So, this is what I see time and time again with my friends. For the people that don't have this aspecting any of their personal planets, sometimes these moons come and go and they're just felt a little bit energetically, but nothing in their life happens. Other times, when it hits a personal planet by some kind of aspect, square, opposition, sextile, trine, or conjunction, you are going to have something in your life alter, change, manifest, or dissolve away. And new moons are specifically about building something up. So if this is hitting your personal chart, which again, you can find out by joining the membership and taking the course. But yeah, if this is hitting your chart, you'll notice that some new beginnings are being planted, some new seeds are being planted at this time. And it's going to be another 6 months for the next full moon in Cancer when you start to see some ripe fruit coming as a result of the actions and things that are happening in your life right now. If you've watched my videos before, then you know I love to use tarot and oracle cards along with the astrology messages because I just feel like they're so intertwined. So I'm definitely going to be using those today to kind of describe this moon. So, what is a new moon in Cancer about? Well, what I think is it's a lot about new emotional beginnings. Cancer is about us allowing ourselves to feel, allowing ourselves to nurture and mother ourselves, especially because this new moon is making a square to Chiron, which is an asteroid in the sky that has a lot to do with our healing process. And a square is a harsh angle that's indicating that this healing is coming off the back of a challenging situation. And because leading up to this point in time, Venus was opposing Pluto, a lot of those challenging situations are likely regarding our finances, our self worth, or our relationships, our intimate partnerships with people. And so, this healing that's happening is really going to be around some of those issues. And it's probably going to feel like a band aid is being ripped off so that the skin underneath can finally get a fresh breath of air. And so that's kind of what I see this new moon as being. I don't think it's going to be the most comfortable new moon, but there are good solutions happening. And what I mean by that is that this new moon is also making a positive angle to Uranus. It's making a sextile to Uranus. Uranus is a planet of finding solutions. It is kind of like our way of thinking outside of the box, of rebelling to create something that doesn't exist that is going to solve our problems, to create change, to disrupt the status quo of what's been happening so we can finally feel some sense of relief or release or freedom. And so that's really what this new moon is about. How are we going to fully express how we feel? By finding some way to create a sense of change in our life to feel more free, to feel like can finally be ourselves. So if you've had some relationships or relationship dynamics that have been repetitive or toxic and kind of keeping you stuck in old cycles, the sextile to Uranus at this moon is asking you to make some changes to those relationships to finally feel like you have some breathing room so you can finally express your authentic self with somebody who can actually sit and listen and take it in and who is a valid person to have a relationship with. I'm going to get more into that for each of the individual signs, but this sextile to Uranus feels very positive. So while there is kind of a lot going on in the sky in general in terms of relationships, money, and self-confidence, this Uranus energy asking us to shake things up, make different decisions, completely disrupt something in our life that's been heading on a path that needs to alter. That is the answer. That is the medicine and the remedy within the astrology right now. This new moon is also making a trine to Neptune. So this trine to Neptune is going to make this healing process a little bit easier. It's going to give us basically more universal and spiritual support throughout this process. So if you're looking for divine timing or divine signals or the universe kind of speaking back to you, this is a moon where you're going to feel like you're finally getting some kind of response from the universe if that's something that you normally tuned into. It's also a really great time to express yourself through art and creativity and anything where you feel like you can process emotion in a really cathartic way. So Neptune is that perfect energy, not only for spiritual expression, but artistic expression. So kind of leaning into those areas are going to help uplift you at this time. There's a really wide orb happening with Pluto and a Pluto opposition. So it's a 7-degree orb. We're probably not going to be feeling it that much, but since the Venus opposition to Pluto happened somewhat recently, I did want to bring this in and say that I do see some residual intensity from recent experiences regarding relationships, regarding money, or regarding self-worth, kind of filtering into this current experience. So I do feel like some of the kind of like childhood shadows that come up around those areas of our life can still be at the forefront. While I don't see them being like necessarily new situations or new realizations, I feel like it's more of the residual of what was just happening. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's pretty much what's going on for the moon itself. Now I'm going to talk about what's happening in the rest of the sky as far as astrology, and then I'll get into some cards that I pulled for this. So we are also experiencing Mercury in Gemini making a trine to Jupiter retrograde in Pisces. So Mercury in Gemini is in its home sign. It loves to be there. Jupiter in Pisces loves to be there. They're both really strong in their element. The only thing wrong here is that Jupiter is retrograde. So a lot of this growth and advancement that we're currently working on with Jupiter is going to be very internal. Those abundance and the blessings that we normally see when Jupiter is direct are going to be kind of on hold until Jupiter does go direct again. Not that you won't receive any abundance or blessings, but that they're kind of trickling out now and not full on pouring out, because a lot of what's happening right now is internal manifestations, internal changes, internal growth. And so that's what Jupiter retrograde does. So I feel like Mercury making a trine to Jupiter is us being more optimistic. It's us feeling like, okay, I can see long term now. I can see how much I've evolved. I can look back in the past and give myself credit for how I've changed, how I've healed, how I've grown. But then we have Mercury also making a square to Neptune. So it's like, even though we can kind of see into the future and we feel more optimistic about it and we can see how far we've come, we also have this element of ourselves where there's still a lack of clarity. We're still not exactly sure where we're going. It's like we have a general idea, we're feeling excited, but when we try to like get down into the details of what is my life right now? Who am I going to be with? What is my relationship with myself going to be? How is my money going to evolve? It's like those things are not fully within our grasp. So even though we can have that excitement and that long-term vision, it's that long-term vision is unclear, or we don't feel like it's tangible. We don't have all of the information yet. We haven't fully come out of this hazy chapter. Like, we haven't fully integrated these lessons. We're still in this process of absorbing it and trying to understand it. So things might not feel like they're totally clear. So if you have this kind of weird relationship with someone, and you're trying to end it, or you're not sure where you guys stand, like that's the kind of energy. Like, okay, there's some relief. Like, you guys maybe made a decision. If this is about a relationship, maybe you made a decision to end or change the relationship or not pursue something or whatever. You had a conversation. But then with the Neptune influence, it's like, it's not really done yet. It's like, it's not solidified. It's not super clear where you stand with this person, but you have a general idea of where you guys are going and you feel like it's better than where it was before. But maybe it's like you're not healed yet, or there's some aspect of that still needs to be fully seen later on. So just kind of keep that in mind. Some of the big stuff that's happening is that we're going to have Mars and Venus aligning in the sky and making a conjunction. So Mars and Venus are very different energies. Venus is the planet of harmony and unity, and Mars is the planet of separation and of war. And so when we bring these two things in combination, it can be honestly this very intensified sexual experience. So we might have a lot more desire nature at this time. We might desire to be in relationship with people. We might want to have more sex with people. We might want to be around people in this really like strong, intense way than we normally do. Kind of like an almost animalistic drive to pursue relationships, or a drive to pursue financial abundance within ourselves, or financial abundance in general, or peace within ourselves. If we're working on a relationship with ourselves, it's like we have this fiery masculine flame kind of driving this desire for the feminine here, the uniting and the harmony. What this can also do is kind of lead to maybe some more struggles in relationships and fights and things like this, especially because Venus and Mars is opposing Saturn in the sky. So it's not like we have this desire and we're given free reign to go out and pursue what we want. At the end of the day, Saturn is there kind of blocking us and saying, okay, well, if you want to make progress with this, you first have to revisit all of this from the past. You have to address these weird habits that you have that you've been stuck in, or you have to overcome this problem first before you can have the green light to go ahead and like be with who you want or do what you want. It's like, it's hard. There's obstacles, there's delays, there's a sense of so much effort needing to be made, and it feels frustrated because our energy is being blocked. Like Mars is our energy, so we have this energy behind us to unite, to be with people, to have sex, to work on our money relationship, our relationship with ourselves. But it's like every time we try to take a step forward, there's like this roadblock that just doesn't allow us to keep on that path. So that can be a little bit frustrating at this time. But the good news is that Venus and Mars is making a square to Uranus. Again, squares are not the most positive, but just the fact that it's touching Uranus here is a good sign, especially because this moon is making a sextile to Uranus. What this means to me is that the solution to these things is creating some sense of freedom or change or disruption to your current cycle. And it's going to feel probably like a loss. It's probably going to feel negative. It's probably going to feel like something is either being taken from you or it's harder to process than it normally is because it's a square. So anytime there's a square to Uranus, it's like, it's not change that you're necessarily sitting down and really wanting to make that change. Maybe deep inside, you know that's the change that's best for you, but it's like on the outside, you also feel like you want to be with someone and maybe you don't want to have a breakup, or you want to spend that money and you don't want to sit there and budget all day. Like there's some aspect there that kind of feels like you're dragging your feet with this a little bit. But that square, if you do put that effort in to make those changes, to disrupt the status quo of where things have been going, that train that's headed down the track, if you disrupt that, it's going to truly manifest in a positive way for you and have a ripple effect onto the rest of your year. Venus and Mars is also making a trine to Chiron, so I do feel like it's through this change, through these decisions, and through facing these relationships with people or facing your relationship with yourself or with money, it's through that experience that you're going to have that deeper healing, that you're going to let go of some of those past patterns that you've been repeating since childhood. So that's really what came up with Venus opposed Pluto, was childhood patterns started to come up in relationships. We started to default to wanting to close down, to not open up. And now it's saying this is our chance to heal that by kind of creating a rift, by exploding what once was, by taking a detour, by creating this massive change. We can start to rewire and rewrite history so that it doesn't just repeat itself on this in this cyclical way. So it's true healing is allowed to happen when we're doing this. And lastly, we have Saturn making a square to Uranus. This has been ongoing throughout the entire year. It's going to keep on going. So I don't really want to talk too much about it, but it's basically saying that we're just making massive, massive changes in our lives, and they might feel like they're coming a little bit slower than we'd like and a little bit more frustrating than we would like because Saturn is involved. But just know that you're steadily making progress, and this year is really where we're starting to lay down those big changes in our lives and into our internal selves. And then next year, I think we're going to start to see more results from them. So I wanted to show some cards that I pulled. So First, I pulled this card, the ever unfolding rose, cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. This is really important. I feel like a lot of times it can feel like these negative relationship situations or money situations or self-worth situations are happening to us. We feel like we are victim to some of these people. I mean, if it's a lot of it is imbalances in relationships, honestly. That was occurring in the weeks prior to this, that we can feel frustrated about, like, why am I always giving, or why am I not receiving? It doesn't have to just be relationships, but just any area of your life where you feel like, God, I'm giving so much and I'm just not getting back what I think I should be getting back. And I feel like what this is saying is this is a very prime situation to help illustrate what you deserve, and to stop falling into patterns or falling into relationships with people that don't give back what you put in. It's not happening to you, it's literally happening for you. You're encountering these challenging situations and people to help you realize your worth, so that from now on, you can really stand up for yourself, hold those boundaries, take your power back, and start to attract the things that only match your level of giving and your vibration. I also pulled a potential card, so I feel like this is kind of going on the back of that, saying that all of this is happening to build you up to your highest potential. If you didn't have these more challenging relationships and circumstances and everything was just easy going, it's like there's not enough friction to help you grow, which is Jupiter retrograde. Grow inside, grow within yourself to reach a deeper and higher potential. So this is kind of forming us into the people that we're meant to be. I also pulled these two cards together, which is the wisdom and focus card. And I really feel like this is us being called to really address where our energy is going with this focus card. You know, what are you focusing your time, thoughts, and energy on? Because the last moon that we had was a Capricorn full moon, which was asking us to grow something, which was asking us to put effort into something. And so I think that is continuing on here with this focus card. Don't give up. Keep up that endurance towards building whatever you're trying to go for, whether that's a business, a relationship, a move, whatever it is you're trying to bring into your life to create change. Keep your focus on the prize and not on what's being lost, but what's being gained by creating more freedom in your life, by releasing things that aren't in alignment with you. And the wisdom card, I feel like, is just telling you to view this perspective to view all this from a higher perspective. Really try to put on your thinking caps and have the perspective of your future self or a really wise elder. They're not going to get so caught up in the details of the emotional experience that's happening right now. They're not going to get stuck in the stories. They're going to think about where this is taking them, why this is necessary, why this happened. Really allowing yourself to reflect in a wise and self-compassionate way is going to be important. And I feel like this Five of Pentacles is really illustrating kind of what we're experiencing emotionally at this time. These people are left out in the cold. They feel like they're not getting their needs met. They aren't being satisfied in their relationships or in some area of their life. And they're just feeling a little bit emotionally frustrated. And I feel like that's how a lot of us are feeling right now with different areas of our life. We're feeling like this sense of disappointment or, like not being fully fulfilled. Like we can start to get some breadcrumbs and some things coming into our life, but the breadcrumbs aren't enough for these people. They feel like they're still frustrated with the situation that they're in. And I feel like that is where we kind of are, especially in relationships right now. And to me, the next card, the Hanged One, is really this Uranus energy about creating a massive shift. This can either be in our life or in our perspective. So there needs to be some kind of shift to who we are or to what we think or to what we do. We need to turn our life upside down and shake out all of the loose change from our pockets, because it's just dead weight that is not helping us. So for all of us, there's some elements of our life that's that loose change that's constantly like jingling in our pockets, reminding us that we need to do something about it, but we just don't want to take it out. We just don't want to get rid of it because it is money at the end of the day. But it's just weighing you down. It's unnecessary. So even if this relationship, this job, or this thing that you're enjoying feels good, or you want to hold on to it because you see some value in it, just know that it's chump change, and the universe is trying to shake that out of your pockets to give you, hundreds and hundreds of dollars and not just quarters. But you have to first make room in your life and in your pockets to receive that money to be able to do that. And that's why I feel like I pulled this Four of Pentacles card. This is us not wanting to release that change. Literally the change, I meant like with the money in your pockets, but literally like releasing something. Like all of us are trying to hold on to something that we no longer need to hold on to. If it's a relationship with someone, a hookup, a connection, something in regards to finances. I mean, that's the very obvious one with Four of Pentacles. Is desiring to hold on to those finances so that you feel the sense of security when there is no sense of security. You create your sense of security. So holding on to this thing is only deterring the blessings that want to come in for you. And this new moon in Cancer is about releasing things, allowing yourself to create space and liberation in your life to bring in new things, and allowing yourself to feel and grieve what's happening. Because whenever you release something, there's some aspect of grief that also accompanies that. So if you're trying to hold on to it so you don't feel the grief, you're really just delaying your blessings, delaying the healing process, and you're not helping yourself. So let go of whatever that thing is. Allow yourself to move on, and then move into the phase 2 of your life, which is about planning ahead. And this is what I feel like Mercury making that trine to Jupiter is saying is it's a great time to plan ahead. It's a great time to look into the future. It's okay if you don't have full clarity with that square to Neptune. You don't need full clarity to get started. You don't need full clarity to start journaling, to get an idea of what you want. So if you did lose a relationship, if you did let that go, now get really clear on what you want to come in its place. Who does that person need to be to satisfy you? How do you need to be in the relationship to be fulfilled? Get super clear in that planning process to understand what it takes. And then the very last card we have is the Strength card, which I feel like is really just telling us that the sun will shine again, but in the meantime, it's going to take our inner resilience and our strength to endure this next couple of weeks, to move through these challenging situations, to try to endure this Five of Pentacles feeling, but just know that when we come out on the other side, things are going to be much better. So I think the Strength card is really about that, like seeing the light at the end of tunnel, knowing that things are going to improve, and just giving yourself the opportunity to believe that things will improve. So that is what I'm seeing for this new moon in Cancer. And now I'm going to go into all of the zodiac signs. If you are enjoying this so far, please like and subscribe. And if you comment down below, I just want to say thank you so much, because those comments, they mean the world to me, you guys. I read every single one and they touch my heart so deeply. And I just wanted to say thank you in advance if you are commenting. All right, up next we have Cancer rising. So this is going to be a big moon for you guys. This new moon is happening at 18 degrees of Cancer, which is likely going to be in your first house. Of course, depending on your personal chart, it can vary, but it's probably going to be in your first house, which means that you guys are going to have some probably more emotional experiences at this time. You're going to be feeling this more than other people are going to be feeling this, and you might actually experience some changes in your life because of this new moon. And those changes take time to build. So just remember that these moon cycles, while it takes 2 months for the next full moon in any sign, it takes actually 6 months for the next full moon in this specific sign of Cancer. And so if things aren't coming right away, just recognize that that's part of the process. And you'll see it unfold over time. So yeah, this moon is making a trine to Neptune in your 9th house. Interesting. I feel like you guys are trying to make some kind of decision right now based off of these cards. I like to pull tarot to go along with the astrology, and it just gives me so much clarity. It adds a lot to the story. So yeah, you guys got a lot going on emotionally, which is kind of what I was saying. I've pulled the Seven of Cups, the Four of Cups, the Queen of Cups. So you guys are definitely in your feels at this time, and having a new moon in your sign can put you in your feels, new and full moons, especially full moons. But just being in your first house, it's like, it's just tugging at your heartstrings a little bit, you know? Yeah, so as I was saying before, this new moon is making a trine to Neptune in the 9th house. So I like this. I feel like the trine to Neptune in the 9th is helping you feel like more I feel like more satisfied with like where your life is going, but I feel like the cards, I don't know. I need to see the full picture of this. But yeah, I feel like there's like general satisfaction of like, okay, I feel like things are gonna progress. Like I feel like, you know, whatever hardship I've endured in the past is going to start, like, things are gonna start changing for the better. And I feel like a lot of those changes are going to be in your relationships with people, specifically in your friendship groups or whoever you spend your time with on a daily basis, whoever you meet that is like-minded. I feel like there is some aspect here that is shifting. And I feel like it's going to actually make you more optimistic, even if the shift initially doesn't feel good. So, yeah, overall, it's looking positive so far. We'll see. We'll see with the rest. I do feel like this moon in general is kind of challenging for some of us. So if it's not all positive for all of you guys, I do see that in astrology as well, just given like what is going on in general. But I feel like some of these cards I'm pulling makes me feel like it's going to end on a good note. Okay, so having a new moon in your first house is giving you a new beginning of yourself. It can be a new life path. It can be like a new relationship. It can literally be anything new in your life that kind of alters your life direction. Anything. And I feel like you have possibly been building something for a while now with the Seven of Pentacles. Like this is the energy of Saturn slowly chipping away at something over time. So this is how you're starting off the reading. This is how you are in your relationships or in certain areas of your life. You are putting in effort, you're putting in energy. And I kind of get the feeling that it's like in relationships that you're putting this effort and energy, like you're trying to build something up. And then I feel like you stumble into this Seven of Cups, which is like, wait, is that what I want? Is that really what I'm going after? What am I putting my time and energy into? Where is this going? I really don't know if I want to keep putting, like I put a lot of effort into this. I've been growing these plants or this relationship, this career. Do I really want that? Like, is this actually giving me what I need? And that's like kind of what I'm seeing here. Maybe some kind of crossroads in your friendships, in your relationships with people. There's some aspect of like, well, you know, I need to make a change to this relationship. I feel like I have options, and I feel like I might need to make a different choice with those options. Because I got the Lovers card and the Four of Cups, which I feel like the Lovers is a decision. You know, do you want to do the male or the female? Do you want, like, what's your decision that you're trying to make here? And I feel like it's desiring to bring more unity in your life with the Lovers. It's like, I want to feel good. I want to feel like I'm in a relationship with someone or in a friendship with someone or in a connection with someone that feels like it's so uplifting to me. And that's the Lovers card. It's like this unity. It's two people who are the yin and the yang, and they fully complement and understand one another, even being different. They uplift each other, and they form a bond, you know, like they fit like glove and glove. And I feel like you've been maybe getting relationships and things from the universe that don't feel like that. Like current friendships, current relationships that feel like the universe is trying to give you some people, and you're like, really? Like that's what I get when I'm looking for the Lovers? Like, hello, I'm trying to build something here. I'm trying to put energy into these friendships, into these relationships, in my life, into myself, even in my life direction. I'm trying to put energy into this, and this is what I'm getting in return, or like this is what I'm getting to build upon. Like this is not substantial enough. I need to make changes to my relationships, to myself, to my patterns in order to manifest true emotional fulfillment with the Queen of Cups. So this is the journey that you guys are on. You're in the journey of understanding what you deserve, of building things that actually make sense to put energy and time and soil and effort and sweat and blood into. Like, you're not just gonna do all that for somebody that's the fucking Four of Cups, that doesn't actually do anything back, that doesn't, like, you're putting all this energy into trying to grow a garden on top of rocks, and it's just not going to grow. And so it's like, okay, let's make changes to that foundation within yourself, within your relationships, and then you're going to actually reach this point of emotional fulfillment where you have that lover's bond and compatibility. Yeah, I feel like this is really big, because I pulled the Awakening card and Birthing a New Age. So Awakening says energetic upgrades, a new way of being. Birthing a new age, bringing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. So you are changing and the world around you is changing. So as you change yourself and you change elements of your relationships, you're going to start seeing your whole life change, is really what I'm seeing with these cards. What's going on here? I don't understand. Is it focused? I feel like it's not focused. Hello? Alright, whatever. You get the picture. So yeah, this feels really big, you guys. I feel like it's changing from the inside out, from the core, realizing your own self-worth, building upon the foundation that's worth being built. And I just can't help but notice in this generosity card that I pulled for you guys, all of this like fruit. Do you see all this fruit at the top? It's like this woman feels so abundant that she has more to give other people. She has so much fruit of her labor, of her time, of her efforts, because she planted seeds in the right places. And for you guys, the seeds that you're planting is within yourself. The soil that you're looking for is within you, not within your friends, not within your relationships. And so once you plant those seeds within yourself, you will then be able to, over time, manifest enough fruit, enough surplus to go out and share them with other people. And so I think that's how you're going to find this equilibrium in your life and this beauty in your life, is by being generous and loving and compassionate with yourself first. And then whatever is left over, because you're so overjoyed and filled up with yourself, you can give to other people. Okay, a few more things. You guys also have Mercury and Gemini in the 12th house, making a trine to Jupiter retrograde in Pisces in the 9th house. So, yeah. Let me pull a card for this. Mercury in the 12th. I feel like this is sometimes about really like resting our mind. 3 of Pentacles, Page of Cups, 8 of Wands. What in the world? Okay. It's interesting because I pulled the 3 of Pentacles, which kind of does have a lot of Gemini energy. The 3rd house is Gemini, related to Gemini. Gemini is about working with other people, interacting with other people, creativity, expression. I feel like this card is representing Gemini energy. But you guys have Gemini, Mercury and Gemini in the 12th. So it's like, I feel like this is being asked to be put on pause for all of us right now, especially because Mercury in the 12th house is like quieting Mercury. It's like, all right, let's take a little nap when it goes to that house. All right, let's rest our mind a little bit. Let's not try to plan and control and analyze everything. Like, let's just take a breath. And I feel like the 3 of Pentacles is saying, like, you can lean on other people at this time, or you can work on other projects, because the 9th, like the trine with Jupiter in the 9th house feels very expansive. It's like your ability to work on your own self-development, your own creative projects, the things that make you feel like you are being your highest self. And so I feel like you are being asked to put energy there into that self-development and all that, and those hobbies and things that you enjoy that make you feel like yourself. But you're also being asked to take a break, like mentally, like take a little bit of a breather. So I feel like what I'm going to say with this 3 of Pentacles, especially with this square to Neptune in the 9th, is to use a little bit more of like your creative energy to express some of the things that you're experiencing and feeling. So whether that's listening to music, or whether that's going on a trip somewhere and like really being inspired by the people and places around you, like whatever makes you kind of feel like you're growing as a person and expressing yourself as a person is going to be really important. But not a lot of like the mind chatter, if that makes sense. So I kind of feel like the message is getting confusing. But essentially, I just think that things are looking good for you long term, but it's like you need a break. You need to focus on like the friends that are going well, the relationships that are going well, doing stuff with those people in a really optimistic setting, or like in doing something that you think you're gonna really thrive in, whether that's like hiking with your friends or something that feels enjoyable where you're around company that isn't problematic, because I think some people will be with this sextile to Uranus in the 11th, and that's why you need to make changes to those relationships. But there are going to be some people that are totally good, and those people you're supposed to lean on and do some fun things with them that feel like they're expansive. So whatever that is, but then also allow yourself to rest and digest, allow yourself to have time alone, allow yourself to process what you are feeling. But don't go into the analytical side of how you're feeling, is kind of what I'm trying to say. Okay, you guys also have Mars and Venus together in Leo in the second house, and speaking in opposition to Saturn in the 11th. So I could see you guys really driven right now to get your finances under control, to find some kind of like sense of stability, especially if you have ended a relationship or are going to end a friendship or shift in your relationships. Like you might feel this destabilization and desire to create stability within your finances, or like buying a home or having some kind of possession to hold on to. Maybe you're really interested in buying something specific, or maybe you're really interested in like learning a new skill to apply in your workplace, or you're just trying to grow in your own self-confidence. But then with Saturn the 8th, it's like you're either having some kind of like lack of finances, or maybe you have insecurities that come up that block your ability to feel fully confident. Or maybe like you're trying to develop your skills in your career, but again, that insecurity or lack of finances somehow gets in the way, or other like debt or responsibilities kind of like hinders you. So that might feel a little bit frustrating at this time. But then with the square to Uranus in the 11th happening between Mars and Venus, it says that when you start to make changes and shifts to those relationships and those friendships, you're going to start seeing that it's easier to put effort into your finances, or it's easier to put effort into your self-confidence or to developing those skills. So I feel like it's definitely one of those things where one change kind of has a ripple effect on the other areas of your life, and you'll start to see the benefits of that. So first, making those changes within yourself, planting the seeds in the right places within yourself, and only choosing relationships or making changes in your relationships to reflect those changes, to reflect how much you deserve and what you're trying to build. And then I think things are going to start flowing for you really nicely with this 8 of Wands. You're going to start feeling emotionally fulfilled and like you're making progress in your life as a whole. So that's what I see for you guys. Cancer rising, it's going to be a big one. And if you're feeling it, if you want to tell me about that experience, please do in the comments below. It means a lot to me when you guys share what you're going through. It also helps me as an astrologer. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you're interested in learning about astrology, I have an entire course worth hundreds of dollars, and it's honestly an amazing course. I spent so long on it, and it's only $20 a month if you want to access it. You can cancel anytime, and it's in the North Node Society, which I will link down below. I hope you have a great day. Bye.